Move to approve Resolution 431-14. I need a second.
Seconded by Ms. Willie. Ms. Ford, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. I am prepared to discuss this in public, but I frankly would prefer to discuss it in an executive session.
What's your request? You have the option or?
I would request that we go into an executive session to discuss this, but if you don't want to, I'm prepared to discuss it publicly. I'm seeing no's for the executive session. All right. Thank you. Here we go. Let me start with the reorganization. We had a reorganization meeting before we took our oaths of office, and during that meeting, we set up who's going to be the chair, the vice chair, who's going to be HSAC, we're representatives, etc. We did that. And during that discussion, I brought up the fact that Mr. Onishi, Councilmember Onishi, had missed approximately 30% of the meetings in previous term. And I was very reluctant to vote for him for HSAC representative because of his attendance record here. It is my personal belief that in order to understand what the public wants, what the council members in particular want, and to represent this council majority as you go forward to HSAC, it is important for somebody to attend most, if not all, of these council and committee meetings. So I've been getting, the first year, everything went well, and since the beginning of this last year of the term, things have kind of gone downhill with Mr. Onishi's attendance record. In addition to that, at a meeting just within the last 6 weeks, he announced that he was going to continue to miss a portion of every other committee meeting because he was attending community meetings. And that was at the point that I said, enough. We need somebody at HSAC. I'm not challenging his performance at HSAC. We need somebody at HSAC who's going to be there, be here all the time, or as much time, barring family or medical emergencies, who's going to represent us as a majority council to those organizations. And I don't see that happening. And for that reason, I wrote this and said in the memo that I would like to change our HSAC and we're representatives. I've read the information that Mr. Onishi got other counties to write. This is not about the HSAC position. This is about not performing as he committed to us all in the organization meeting. If you all remember, we had a rather heated discussion about this, and he committed to be here. And now he has reneged on that, and I think we need to get somebody else. And I have submitted Mr. Kanuha's name as the primary and Ms. Willie's name as the secondary, the alternate. And the reason I selected those two is I wanted to choose people that I believed, this doesn't mean that I'm omnipotent or anything, I believed that would be here during the next term. Therefore, during this last 6 months, they could learn the ropes of HSAC and WEIR and whatever else they have to do, and NACO, and go forward into the next term. At least one of them would go forward into the next term. At least one of them we know now, as of today, will be going forward into the next term, and be ready to hand off this baton, if you will, to the new council. So there's nothing in our rules that allows us to do anything to a council member who won't show up for meetings for anything other than a family or a medical emergency, and that's why I brought this forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ford. Mr. Onishi?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's really sad when one council member doesn't get her facts correct. And that's the sad part, because now I got to look at the camera to the public and explain that, because of this one councilwoman, she's not getting her facts correct, and then she's putting these allegations that I'm going to be missing half of my committee meetings because of a community meeting. I don't understand that. If council members remember what I just said was that every other week or every other meetings, I'll be attending Keukaha's Community Association meeting, but I will attend every meeting. But then it's after, because the meeting starts at 6 p.m. So I'm not missing any committee meetings or any council meetings. But when a council member misinterpret what people say or what council members say, that is very bad. And so maybe I should bring that up to the ethics, because what happened is that now she's like painting a different person, which is wrong. And I think council members, I see you guys nodding your heads, and which is that what I stated at the other meeting, when I said that Kyokawa's meeting, and I said my staff will attend, like say January, I'll attend February, and then they'll attend March, and I'll attend April, and so forth. But I never said I was going to miss any meetings in committee or council. So to give that facts on public record, I think that is wrong. And so I will be bringing this up to the ethics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Mayor.
Let me take Miss Willie, because she's next. And then
Let me just say, separating out what with Councilmember Onishi, I feel it's good for us to different people to be on it and support it. It's not whether one person should, but I think that we ought to be taking turns. I think that Fresh did say he would be there for the meetings, and I think it's only the in-person, whether he was going to be there in person, not whether he was going to attend the meetings. So just to clarify that, and as you know, as much as I love my buddy Fresh, I still felt we need to rotate, and that's always been my position right from the point of the organizational meeting. So I yield. I just want to, I think it's the in-person versus whether he attends or not that he wouldn't be attending the meetings.
okay, thank you. Mr. Kern.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, first off, I want to say that, yeah, when we had that discussion with Mr. Onishi, it was due to the video conferencing, and there was some discussion brought up about attending in person versus video conferencing. And all that you had mentioned at that time is said, if you guys don't want me to attend via video conference, I need to attend my community meeting, and I'm going to have to make that choice. Never saying that that's what you were going to do. It was just saying, here's the position that I'm in. So I never took that as that. I just wanted to make sure that is exactly what I heard. And I think Mr. Nishi's been doing a fantastic job. The issue that I have is I just don't feel that this is cool. I feel that we already had this conversation. I feel that we already did this, and we decided on who was going to be representing, and this is just kind of, I don't know, just doesn't, to me, it just honestly doesn't feel right, so I'm not going to support it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kern. We're still in our first round. Ms. Poindexter, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say I did receive, well, we all did receive the letters from other NACO representatives opposing this, and they made some good arguments about the relationships and things that can get done, especially in a year that we're going to be having a Hawaii president for the National Association of Counties that's going to be appointed. And I just have to say that when I attended the NACO meetings in Washington, that I was impressed with your relationships, and that how you introduced us for us to start building those relationships. And I think you did a great job with Dru, Councilmember Kanuha, in bringing us on and allowing us to participate, because even at the NACO, when we went to visit Representative Tulsi Gabbard, Councilmember Onishi gave me the opportunity to do a presentation versus him doing it. So kind of sharing those responsibilities to train us on how to do that. So I did appreciate you allowing that. And I just want to say, sometimes when we go up to NACO, and when, thank you for your leadership there, sometimes things don't happen that same year. Like last year we went up, and Mr. Onishi led us up, and we went to see again Representative Tulsi Gabbard, and we talked about the veterans in the Puna area on catchment and how they were unable to get the loans. And because of that, this year, or was it last year, but this year, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard passed the law where they can now qualify But that was because of our Hawaii delegation that did that, and the relationships that was built there and the trust. So I like what we're talking about, having Dru as the alternate so that you can start training him. So with the letters of support that I got from some other representatives, I'm not going to be supporting this at this time, resolution, but I'd like to hear from the other council members, and especially I'd like to hear from Councilmember Kanuha himself.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Poindexter. Mr. Iligan, you're up next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had the honor and the privilege to be the vice alternate, or the alternate for the HSAC. And Mr. Onishi actually helped me learn the ropes. But because there are other priorities that I feel that I need to work on in my district, I decided not to pursue that any further. And when we did go up to the ledge, and when we did visit the other congressional delegates, one of the things that I and the other council members pushed for, because I'm a veteran, I wanted to make sure that the loans for the VA were, for the home loans regarding the catchment, was being voiced out. So I do want to, since we're on this subject, I do want to encourage this body to carry on that alternate to become the representative, because as they are the alternate, they're learning how to be effective on the federal and on the state level. And to carry that on as the rep would really benefit not only the County of Hawaii, but everybody that's a resident here. So I just want to say that I appreciate you taking this on as a discussion piece, but I don't really appreciate the fact that you did it this way. This is very unprofessional to me, and I feel like this shouldn't even occurred. Thank you.
May I summarize?
Yeah, anyone else on the first round before I give Ms. Ford the second opportunity? Hearing none, Ms. Ford, go ahead.
Thank you. In past councils, the former Corporation Counsel, Mr. Ishida, has advised us, I don't know if he's advised all of us, but several of us have been advised, that council members cannot file ethics complaints against each other, because we would be filing ethics complaints all the time when we disagree. And furthermore, Mr. Onishi, I do respect you, but I don't like the number of absences. It has been noticed, and it has been commented on to me and to other council members, whether they're willing to speak up or not. So therefore, what I will do, I will leave this, you can vote it down, but I intend to pull the statistics on attendance. Thank you very much.
Okay, second round, Mr. Onishi?
Yeah, I just want to clarify one more thing too. When I missed, I guess, the council and committee meetings back in, I think, May, or no, not May, I went to a WR meeting, and what happened is I requested to the chair to change the dates, because it had, the committee and the council had fallen upon a Thursday, Friday meetings, and that was the week of the conference. So I had requested the chair to change it to the following week, and it was never. I don't know if it was denied, but it was never changed. So my plans to go to the conference had to, it was scheduled, so I went to that. So that's why I missed it. But I tried my best to reschedule those meetings, and it was never done. So that's why I had to miss those two meetings. And if you subtract those votes from that one, I wouldn't be the highest one. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Willie, you still have your light on. Did you want to?
Yep, I did. I do think we voted on this before, and I think we went through these issues before. And I didn't vote in favor at that time for the reasons that I stated, but I do feel in a way that we're sort of rehashing what we did, even though I was on the losing end. But really separating this out, I mean, I'm just going to go to the in-person versus issue. And I think that that's really separate from what we're talking about right now. And you already know, before I probably ever talk to you in my life, that I'm like in-person and feel that I don't feel that attending a community meeting should be justification for not being present at the council meeting. That's how I feel, okay? I feel that way strongly, and having sat in the seat where I'm testifying many times and having people in different places, I feel this is the commitment we made, and I miss community meetings that are important to me in order to be here in person. And I actually feel, I'm always picking on Jay. Jay, why aren't you, this isn't what are the words, Valerie? Because you were the one that gave us the words, at the extraordinary circumstances or something. Like, okay, I'm speaking at this meeting, this is special, come see Fresh versus attending the meeting. So I've always felt that we ought to, it's separate from our discussion, but since it's tied in, I just feel that I look at these issues a little bit differently. I feel that we ought to be saying present here. I like that right up here, and that's something we disagree on. And I felt it was very strong from, as you all remember, this was a big deal for me at our organizational meeting, which you weren't in person at. You were on the phone for part of that, but it was something really important to me. Okay. Two of you. Two Freshes are. Anyway, I do think we did go through this, and I just want to say how I see these issues a little bit differently than is really being discussed in this forum. Again, at that time, I wanted to be the position that Freshes, when we were organizing, that was the committee that I asked for and argued for against Fresh, okay? And I lost on that, but I always still felt, no matter who it is, we should rotate, and it shouldn't, anybody who's in there is going to be good introducing and doing that. And I feel that if I were the one that was doing it, I would handle things in a very different way. We each have different styles and different things to offer. Dru does, Valerie does, we each do. And that it should be not feeling that who's ever in it has that position sort of locked in. So I'm not going to vote in favor of this, but I did want to express be really upfront about how I feel about the different issues.
Okay. Ms. Poindexter, second opportunity.
Yeah, I just want to say, and I agree with you, Councilmember Willie, on, being in person, but there's the other side to it. If there's a critical issue going on in my community, and they have, like how the Waimea community has first Thursday is their meeting, and they're not going to change it for us. They won't. Right. But if there's a critical issue, like I think what Councilmember Onishi one time stated, that they were having that problems with the road in Kyokaha, so those kind of issues, he needs to be there. And in that regard, I do agree with him, because we are here, we were voted in by our community to serve our community as well. So I just wanted to make that clear, and that I kind of support both ends of it. Okay, thank you.
Alrighty.
I didn't say he would miss every other meeting. I said a portion of every other meeting. There's quite a difference. So I'm having words put in my mouth erroneously. The next thing, I will pull the stats, and this is not about anybody else on the council. This is about the person who's supposed to be representing us at HSAC and WEIR and NACO. That's the issue. Now, everybody runs their office differently. When I got elected, I made the commitment to my constituents that I would work very hard, I know we all do, and I would attend the meetings, and that's the way it is. If I have a community meeting that I cannot go to, because these meetings for council and committee are scheduled in some cases almost a year in advance, in some cases several months in advance, if I can't go, I send a staff member. That's why we have staff to help us out with this stuff. Now, Mr. Onishi can do anything he wants with his staff, but that's what I do so that I keep my commitment to the people who voted me into office to be here so they can look me in the eye and tell me what they think, good or bad. And that's what we're all supposed to be here for, to have them look them in the eye. There is nothing that we can do to force somebody's attendance. There's nothing we can do. This was the only method I have of letting this council know that I'm not happy with the attendance record and the representation that we may be getting or may not be getting. We don't know. We're not at those meetings. However, in deference to the opinions of this committee, I will withdraw this resolution, but I still am going to get those statistics, and I'm going to make sure they're public. Thank you.
Okay, the resolution 431-14 is deemed withdrawn. Mr. Clerk, we are on